Anorexia nervosa. This isn't just about vanity or wanting to be thin. It's a complex, serious eating disorder with deep roots. We're going to break down the signs, the struggles, and what you need to know. So stay with me. Let's get real. Let's get educated. And most importantly, let's get understanding. The scary reality, severe food restriction. Look, we all know someone who's watching their weight, maybe even counting calories. But with anorexia nervosa, we're talking about a whole different ball game. This is severe, deliberate restriction of food intake. These individuals, they aren't just cutting back, they're practically starving themselves. And the saddest part, they often don't even see it, or they deny it. They're trapped in a cycle of fear, convinced that any food will make them gain weight. It's heartbreaking, and it's dangerous. The terrifying grip of fear. Intense fear of weight gain. Imagine living every single day terrified of gaining weight. Not just a little worried, but truly terrified. That's the reality for people battling anorexia nervosa. This fear, it consumes them. It dictates their every move, every bite, every thought. They see food as the enemy, and their body as something to be controlled, manipulated, shrunk down. It's a relentless battle against themselves, fueled by this overwhelming fear. Through a distorted lens body image distortion. Now here's where it gets really complicated. Individuals with anorexia nervosa, they don't see themselves the way others do. They look in the mirror and they don't see the alarming thinness, the protruding bones. They see fat, they see flaws, they see an image that simply doesn't match reality. This distorted body image, it's like a funhouse mirror, twisting their perception. And it's this distorted view that fuels their dangerous behaviors. The body's cry for help, amenorrhea. When the body is starved, deprived of the essential nutrients it needs to function, it starts sending out warning signals. One of the most alarming is amenorrhea, the absence of menstruation in women. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a serious medical condition that can have long-term consequences on a woman's health, including bone density and fertility. It's a sign that the body is in distress, a desperate plea for nourishment. Running from the enemy, excessive exercise. We all know exercise is important for a healthy lifestyle, but for someone struggling with anorexia nervosa, exercise becomes another weapon in their arsenal against weight gain. It becomes compulsive, excessive, driven by an unyielding need to burn calories, to punish themselves for any perceived dietary slip-up. It's not about health, it's about control, a way to alleviate the anxiety and guilt that plague their every waking moment. Consumed by thoughts. Preoccupation with food. Imagine your life revolving around food, not in a joyful, celebratory way, but in a restrictive, obsessive way. That's the reality for many with anorexia nervosa. They're constantly thinking about food, what they can't eat, how many calories are in everything, how to avoid situations where they might be pressured to eat. It's exhausting, it's isolating, and it takes a devastating toll on their mental and emotional well-being. A dangerous numbers game, low body weight. We've all heard of BMI, but with anorexia nervosa, it's not just a number, it's a red flag, a warning sign that something is seriously wrong. When someone's body weight plummets significantly below what's considered healthy for their age and height, it's a clear indication that their body is in a state of starvation. This isn't about fitting into a certain size. It's about survival. And the lower the weight, the higher the risk of serious, even life-threatening complications. Starving the body, starving the mind. Malnutrition. When you deny your body the essential nutrients it needs to function, the consequences are far-reaching. We're talking about malnutrition, a condition that affects every system in the body. From weak bones and hair loss to heart problems and organ damage, The physical toll of anorexia nervosa is undeniable. But it's not just the body that suffers. The mind pays a heavy price as well. Malnutrition can lead to cognitive impairment, difficulty concentrating, and even depression. Chapter 9. A complex web comorbid psychiatric disorders. Here's the thing about mental health. It's rarely black and white. Anorexia nervosa often doesn't travel alone. It often goes hand in hand with other mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, even obsessive-compulsive disorder. These co-occurring disorders can make diagnosis and treatment even more complex, highlighting the need for a comprehensive approach that addresses the whole person, not just the eating disorder. Living in denial of severity. One of the most frustrating and heartbreaking aspects of anorexia nervosa is the denial. Individuals struggling with this disorder often can't or won't acknowledge the severity of their condition. They minimize their symptoms, deny they have a problem, and resist help. This denial is a powerful defense mechanism, but it's also a major obstacle to recovery. Breaking through that wall of denial is often the first and most crucial step towards getting help. The need for control, perfectionism. Now, there's nothing wrong with striving for excellence, but for individuals with anorexia nervosa, this desire for perfection can become all-consuming. They set impossibly high standards for themselves, and their self-worth becomes solely tied to achieving those standards. This relentless pursuit of perfection, particularly when it comes to body image, can fuel the restrictive behaviors and negative self-talk that characterize this disorder. Title: Isolation and Fear, Social Withdrawal. Imagine being so terrified of food, so consumed by your eating disorder that you start avoiding social situations altogether. This is the reality for many with anorexia nervosa. The fear of judgment, the anxiety about being around food. It becomes too overwhelming. They withdraw from friends and family, isolating themselves further and deepening their struggle. The body under siege, physical health complications, anorexia nervosa is a serious, potentially life-threatening condition. When the body is starved for prolonged periods, it begins to shut down. Bones become brittle, the heart weakens, organs fail. We're talking about a cascade of health problems, from gastrointestinal issues and electrolyte imbalances to kidney problems and heart failure. Trapped in low self-esteem. Self-esteem, that sense of self-worth, is so fragile, so easily shattered. For individuals with anorexia nervosa, their self-esteem becomes intrinsically linked to their body weight and shape. They base their entire worth on a number on the scale, on achieving an unrealistic body ideal. This distorted perception fuels their negative self-talk, their feelings of inadequacy, and their relentless pursuit of thinness. Food, which should be a source of nourishment and pleasure, becomes the enemy, something to be controlled and manipulated. Individuals with anorexia nervosa often develop ritualistic eating behaviors, cutting food into tiny pieces, chewing excessively, rearranging food on their plate. These rituals provide a sense of control in a world that feels chaotic and overwhelming. A slowing heartbeat, bradycardia. The heart, that vital organ responsible for pumping life-sustaining blood throughout the body, suffers greatly under the strain of anorexia nervosa. Bradycardia, a slow heart rate, is a common complication, a sign that the body is conserving energy in a desperate attempt to survive. This slowing heartbeat can lead to fatigue, dizziness, and even fainting, highlighting the serious medical risks associated with this disorder. Always cold intolerance. Imagine feeling cold all the time, even in the heat of summer. This constant chill is a common symptom of anorexia nervosa, a result of the body's depleted fat stores and slowed metabolism. Without adequate insulation, the body struggles to maintain a normal temperature, leaving individuals feeling cold, tired, and vulnerable. Lanugo, that fine, downy hair that covers the body of a newborn baby, serves a vital purpose to keep the infant warm. When it appears on the body of an adult with anorexia nervosa, it's a sign of the body's desperate attempt to protect itself from the cold, a physical manifestation of the severe malnutrition taking its toll. For someone struggling with anorexia nervosa, the number on the scale holds immense power. It dictates their mood, their self-worth, their entire day. Compulsive weighing, checking the scale multiple times a day, becomes an obsession, a way to track their progress or lack thereof in their pursuit of thinness. This fixation on weight fuels their anxiety and reinforces their distorted body image. Seeking help for any mental health condition can be daunting, but for someone with anorexia nervosa, the fear of weight gain, the denial, the shame, can create insurmountable barriers to treatment. They may resist help, downplay their symptoms, or even drop out of treatment prematurely. It's crucial to remember that recovery is possible, but it requires professional help, a supportive network, and a willingness to challenge those deeply ingrained beliefs and behaviors. Look, we've covered a lot of ground today, and it's heavy stuff. But the more we understand about anorexia nervosa, the better equipped we are to help ourselves and those we love. Remember, this isn't about vanity. It's a serious, complex mental illness. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help. There's no shame in asking for support. In fact, it's the bravest thing you can do. Don't suffer in silence. Recovery is possible.